This is Tim Trelaw.
This is David J. Howe.
I'm Peter Purvis.
I am Sadie Miller.
This is Lauren Cornelius.
Hi, this is Abby Rago, and I am a cosplayer. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Larry, it's Fraser. At last I've got back to you. I'm sorry it's taken ages, but I've had the dreaded lurgy. And you use, they all say, who is Doctor Who? Where is he from? What does he do?
They all say, who is Doctor Who? Where is he from? What does he do? They wonder who is Doctor Who? So I ask you, who's Doctor Who?
Welcome back to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast, the podcast that explores the festive world of Doctor Who collecting, the collectors, all kinds of Doctor Who merchandise, and Doctor Who in general, and it's great to be here. Brought to you by Forbidden Planet and Bags Unlimited Incorporated. I am Larry Van Mersbergen, your host, and I've been a Doctor Who collector now for 42 years. Welcome to our 73rd episode. This is our Christmas special, so happy and Merry Christmas to everyone who listens, and happy holidays to everyone who listens and doesn't celebrate this holiday. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your valued listenership to this podcast. It's been a great passion for me to share my knowledge, my collection, my collecting history, my collecting knowledge, my price knowledge, and anything I can do to help you out there. So, of course, we're just coming off of the high of the 3 new Doctor Who specials. I am still rewatching The Giggle because I thought it was one of the best stories I've seen in a long time. And with the Celestial Toymaker coming back, no spoilers, but definitely give it a watch. It was a lot of fun. I had the honor of opening one of the first Doctor Who stores in Chicago that served the Doctor Who fans, and it was back in 1984. After reading a copy of Fantasy Empire, there was a section of the magazine called Bundles from Britain, and I got stuck on that title, so I called my shop Bundles from Britain. And lo and behold, many, many years later, fast forward, and I pick up a wonderful book called Red, White, and Who, the story of Doctor Who in America. And I found Bundles from Britain on page 384, so I must have made a little bit of a contribution since it's in a history book. Wow, that still blows me away. Anyway, you should get a copy of this book. If you can, I would find it at ATB Publishing. Just Google ATB Publishing and you can find it there, or you can find a link to the Amazon listing. I know the book is officially out of print, I believe, and not sure if another printing is coming, but there's still some copies to be had out there. Again, we don't make any money off that book. We just want you to have it. So there you go. We are part, of course, of the Direction Point Doctor Who Podcast Network, which is growing in leaps and bounds. Many podcasts joining the network, which is wonderful. We want to be a part of this wonderful growth of Doctor Who family of podcasts. And I want to thank you. If you are a podcaster, join today, directionpoint.org. And you can join some of the great podcasts, such as Time Streams, Police Box in a Junkyard, the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, Traveling the Vortex, and many, many more, of course. Also, Doctor Who Literature. I'll give a shout out to that one. Jason Miller. I listen to him every week. So there you go. Also, speaking of links, 2 great resources that really do help you determine if an item is fan-made or legit. I just had that debate the other day about a book I saw online, and I said, wow, that looks legit, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Turns out it was completely fake. So you need to have these 2 on your bookmarks here. It includes timelash.com, and underneath that, the TARDIS Library, or timelash.com/TARDIS Library, I believe, will help you keep track of your books with a free account that you can establish. Also, if you're looking for something, he has convenient links to eBay and Amazon.com, so you can maybe find what you're looking for and plug some of those holes. And of course, If you really need to do some in-depth research, then you need to go to Howe's Transcendental Toy Box, and that is my go-to. I happen to be a contributor on that website, and of course by Howe we do mean David J. Howe, and that name should ring true for everybody who's a collector. He's been a collector himself, one of the largest collectors in the world, and he's a good friend of mine. Great guy, great guy. So there you go. That's DoctorWhoToyBox.co.uk. There you go. Of course, if you're looking to shop for Doctor Who items at pretty good prices, actually, the prices are good, look no further than DoctorWhoStore.com. That's Alien Entertainment. They have what you need. They're running a lot of specials. I recently paid them a visit and still got some things for cover price and below. So there you go. If you're ordering online and you live in the suburbs of Chicago, you can get free pickup from the store's location. They're open Wednesday to Saturday. There you go. If you happen to be in Chicago, they have a location in Logan Square as well. So go to alienentertainment.com for location and store hours. You can also get some great Doctor Who items, especially 60th anniversary items, at Forbidden Planet. And you don't need to go anywhere except DoctorWhoCollectors.com and select merchandise links. And you can shop through our store of Forbidden Planet items. You check out at Forbidden Planet, we get a little bit of the money back from that to help support the podcast. So I thank you for your shopping. There you go. And don't forget our own eBay store. Right now on 2 Facebook groups, if you're members of the Braxiatel Collection or the Doctor Who Target Book, I believe the Target Book Club online or whatever, you can get a 20% off code for shopping on my eBay store. It's good until December 26th. All proceeds benefit the podcast. Don't forget, of course, our friends at Who North America, Keith and Jenny, they opened the shop the same year that I opened Bundles from Britain. So they've got some wonderful things there as well. And they also are online at WhoNA, that's WHONA.com. And of course, last but not least, our friends at the Who Shop of London. Wonderful people. They're fans and listeners of the podcast. So I say happy Christmas to my friends at the Who Shop in London. Shout out to you guys. You can find them at thewhoshop.com. And of course, on our website at DoctorWhoCollectors.com, in addition to all the podcasts, we have all the episodes posted. Some of your providers cut you off after 10 or 20. We have all of them. So if you want to go back to the very beginning before we had a format, you can go back and listen to those. But also we have the continuing development of the Doctor Who Classic Hardcover Guide, which is going to be more in-depth in 2024 with individual pages, better photos, more information that we're going to gather from several different sources to kind of put things together so that you can make that along with price recommendations based on sold sales. There you go. We also have reprints up there that some people didn't even know we had. All right, going forward here is Chicago TARDIS 2024. That's my convention, so I like to talk about it. It's set for November 29th to December 1st, Thanksgiving weekend. Some possible guest ideas are on the table here. I know that they are talking to the agents for Neil Patrick Harris and Paul McGann to see if they can get a contract. That's not a confirmation yet. That is just the ideas that are floating around. But join us for the best Doctor Who convention in the Midwest. And if you want to keep updated by them, go to ChicagoTARDIS.com and sign up for their updates. So here's what's going on with me. My current show of 60 items for 60 years has been very successful. We had a full room at Chicago TARDIS. We had a very good showing at Doctoberfest, including a video, which will be posted to our YouTube channel for free. And we're not going to charge for that one. Also, I'll be posting photos of all the items after the holidays. But the next showing, of course, will be at Consinity in Milwaukee. That is coming up in April. I'll get the exact date very soon to you. It's still pending, Twin Cities Console Room. I'm still in negotiations with them. I thought I was confirmed, and then I wasn't confirmed, and then I didn't see my panel up there. And then, of course, I tried to meet with the showrunner at Chicago TARDIS. It was not happening, and then we've had a couple of emails back and forth. But if you're someone who goes to Twin Cities Console Room and you want to see 60 items for 60 years, send them a note and let them know that you want to see it. That would be great. Can't go to Gallifrey 1. It would be great if they move that convention to a better time, but of course, my day job would not permit me to travel out to California, so not going to be there. But I've heard Derek Jacobi is going to be there, so that's going to be exciting. All right. And of course, back to our hardcover guide for a moment. The many rumors floating around about there about possible second or third printing hardcovers by Wingate or W.H. Allen. But of course, I'm always on the lookout for concrete proof of their existence. In other words, a photograph of the book, the spine, and the page, the copyright page that says what printing it is. So if you have a book that might fit that category, contact me, because I'd love to share the story and talk with collectors. And you can contact me at drwhocollectorspodcast@gmail.com. And you can send photos there as well. So on today's show, it's a really, really great time of year, the Christmas season. I'm just going to be wrapping up 2023 and talking about what's coming up in 2024. Because it's going to be a very exciting year for guests and for topics. And, I'm hoping to get some more information out there for you. First, I also want to thank our patrons. If you do want to see exclusive video interview material, you can go to our Patreon page, subscribe at the $15 level or above, and you can go to patreon.com/Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. You can support us there. You don't have to be at the $15 level, but you do get one day ahead on the podcasts. If you want to support us at Podbean, go to drwhocollectors.podbean.com and click Become a Patron. You can also go to our website at drwhocollectors.com and click the donate button, and through PayPal you can donate whatever you like. We are not a charity, so we cannot offer you a tax deduction, but if you think it's worth something that you want to support, go ahead. We basically pay our bills, and our podcasting bills are very low, so we're very low maintenance here. Our theme song, of course, is Who's Doctor Who, composed by Barry Mason and Les Reed, performed by Fraser Hines, who had a couple of attempts at that on this episode, but it's a lot of fun. Fraser's a great guy. We missed him this year at Chicago TARDIS. I'm sure we'll see him next year. You can get this podcast just about anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. We are working on getting this on SiriusXM. That's a little bit more of a hurdle, but we'll do our best. Also, anywhere you can get your podcast for the most part, and we are a Direction Point Network podcast. So after the quick break here, I will do our main story and the most outrageous offer.
Hi, I'm Juliet.
And I'm Nathan.
Experience Doctor Who from the very beginning through a classic fan's eyes.
And through the eyes of a new Who fan.
Reminisce and relive those classic moments with Nathan as he offers fun insight.
Or experience them for the first time with Juliet as she dwells on social issues, history, fashion, and the size of a flashlight.
We're the Time Streams podcast.
Find us on Spotify, Stitcher, or Apple Podcasts. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Traveling the Vortex. Are you ready to embark on an epic journey through time and space? Join the thousands of Whovians around the world who've discovered Traveling the Vortex, the ultimate Doctor Who podcast for die-hard fans and curious newcomers alike.
Every week, we dive deep into the Whoniverse, discussing the episodes, theories, and hidden gems. We dissect the Doctor's adventures, share behind-the-scenes stories, and explore the legacy of this iconic show.
Traveling the Vortex brings fans together, fostering a global community of Whovians. Whether you're a fan of classic or new Who, there's something for everyone.
Join us on this incredible journey as we unravel the mysteries of time and space.
Don't miss out. Subscribe to Traveling the Vortex today on your favorite podcast platform.
Traveling the Vortex. Your ticket to adventure awaits.
Traveling the Vortex is a proud member of the Direction Point Podcast Network. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
We are going on a journey, a very long journey, through the world of the Target novelizations in publication order. Every week, we are looking at a new book, talking about Terrence Dix, Malcolm Hulke, and all our Doctor Who novelization friends. Whatever you do, keep turning the pages. This is Jason Miller of the Doctor Who Literature Podcast, a member of the Direction Point Podcast Network, and you are listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Up there is the scanner, those are the doors, that is a chair with a panda on it. Sheer poetry, dear boy.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So we wish you a Merry Christmas, everybody, to those who are listening. And we had a great year for the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. The 2023 year was a wonderful year. We started off with a big bang with a big guest, and we ended with a big guest. So I think we did quite well. But I want to thank our guests for 2023. So here's, if this is your first one, you need to go back and listen to some of these. So we started off in the year with talking with the great Peter Purvis, who played Stephen Taylor in 44 episodes of Doctor Who, and of course Big Finish and many more. But he is just he traveled with the first Doctor, and it was a joy to talk to him. I also want to thank Tony Witt. Tony, of course, is the host of the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, and we bring him on when we do our hardcover specials. So we're hoping to have him back on when we continue that journey. We've only got 4 more years to go in that series. So there you go. We had author John Walsh, who did a wonderful book on Doctor Who and the Daleks, the films, through Studio Canal. And of course, I think he had a follow-up book on The Wicker Man, if that's a movie you're into. We had the wonderful Tim Treloar, who voices the third Doctor for Big Finish. He was a very nice man. I love talking to him. I just got a Christmas message from him. Wonderful guy. Of course, we can't have a great year without Katie Haynes. Katie, of course, was on the podcast a couple times. You know, we had her at Oktoberfest, at Chicago TARDIS. Just a wonderful, uplifting, spirited soul who really brings people up, and I really appreciate her. We had Tasha Achilleos on the program after, of course, I remember that because it took an hour to troubleshoot our Zoom call, and finally we got it going, and we had a wonderful conversation about her late husband Chris, and who is a dear friend and was actually supposed to be on our podcast a few years back, but passed away. We had the wonderful and talented Abby Rago on the program. She is a cosplayer of tremendous talent, and along with her husband Ace. They were at Chicago TARDIS as well. It was great to get a picture with her and to talk to her. And of course, Elwie the Spagan, we talked about Oktoberfest, and we had a wonderful time at Oktoberfest and Chicago TARDIS. Great guy. And of course, just somebody that really has a passion for Doctor Who. We finished the year, of course, my main stage debut at Chicago TARDIS, where I interviewed Katie Manning, one of my dear friends. And, of course, we had the recording made for the podcast. So we finished our last podcast with Katie Manning on the show. So what a great year in podcasting. I also made an appearance on the Police Box and the Junkyard podcast when they talked about the 77 Doctor Who Annual. That was a lot of fun. My in-person appearances this year included Consinity 23. And Oktoberfest Collision with the great Sophie Aldred. I'll never forget walking through my collection display with Sophie and just having her giving me her feedback. And it was just a lot of fun to have time with her. That was just great. And of course, Chicago TARDIS, where I interacted with many people, including Mr. Peter Davison, Mr. Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy. I shared some wonderful stories about meeting Patrick Troughton with his son Michael Troughton, and just a wonderful time. John Davey and Mickey Lewis were there. That was a lot of fun as well as Janet Fielding. She was wonderful. Mark Strickson actually remembered me from 1984, which is incredible because I was a lot younger in 1984. I was 15 years old. So, I mean, the fact that he remembered me was really quite something. And, of course, meeting Rachel Talalay, who directed The Star Beast, and getting to watch The Star Beast at the convention on a big screen, which premiered just before it aired, with the director in the house, was really something else. That was an experience that I think will not be topped for many years to come. There you go. And I've got more to come. Consinity 24 coming up next year. It's the next one up. That'll be the last show, I believe, for the 60 Items for 60 Years. Like I said, I'm still pending on Twin Cities, so we'll see. I added some things to the collection since the previous episode, so here's what came in. A new copy, a new condition copy of The Hand of Fear in hardcover. That's a W.H. Allen release. Might be a Wingate release. I'm trying to remember, but right off the bat, with the dust jacket, beautiful shape. I got the Eagle Moss Dalek Parliament Set 2. You might remember this from the Most Outrageous Offers I did, the Dave Gibbons collection in hardcover. I think it was like a $999 thing. I paid cover price, which was $50, so not too bad. I've got a Dalek Sec talking helmet in the box, a copy of Doctor Who The Unfolding Text. It was to replace the copy I lost many, many years ago. A few copies of Fantasy Empire that I needed to replace, a copy of Silver Nemesis in Blue Spine. That one's becoming very difficult to find. Thanks to my good friend Tony Witt, I completed my New Adventure book, so I have a complete run of the New Adventures. I found an Eye Break for Daleks bumper sticker from Spirit of Light, completely intact. I have a Goodies candy box from 1980 in the UK. No chocolates included, thankfully. And more to come. So now I'm looking forward to 2024. So here's who I've got lined up already for 2024. We're going to come off right after the holidays. I'm going to have a conversation with Lisa Bowerman. Now, if you don't know that name, you have never listened to Big Finish, because she plays Bernice Summerfield. It was one of my favorite characters. I got to meet her at Chicago TARDIS, and I gave her my card, and she said that she was a collector. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation as well, to find out what she has in her collection. She famously revived a show called Casualty by being killed on an episode, and I guess that was, they were gonna reduce her to part-time, so she said, no, kill me off. So there was some good stories to be had from her. We're bringing back on the show Tasha Achilleos once again. More to talk about with the new shop opening up and getting things rolling, and as well as talking with Anna Achilleos, the daughter of Chris Achilleos. And sometime in late February, we've got Lauren Cornelius coming back. She's got a lot to update us on, especially Big Finish-wise, and her TV career is starting to take off. So it's great to have her back on that. We're also going to be talking with Ken Deep. He's the showrunner of Long Island Who, and we'll get an update on that from him. We also sent an invitation to Stephen Warren Hill, who is the chief author of Red, White, and Who, the story of Doctor Who in America, and the showrunner, programming director of Chicago TARDIS. So we'll see how that goes. So that's what's happening there. And that will do that. So after the next break, I will have the Most Outrageous Offer.
Hi, I'm Rupert Booth.
I am known as Paul Ferry.
And my name is Barry Williams.
Together, we host Time Ram.
Time Ram's a cruel mistress.
It's a random number generator.
That also.
We roll a number from 1 to 13, and that's our doctor. Then 1 to 300 for the story, and then we ram them together.
Even if it doesn't make sense.
Cruel, I tell you.
Time Ram, putting the wrong doctors in the wrong stories, so you don't have to.
You're listening to
the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast.
Hello, fellow time travelers, and welcome to the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, the only podcast to discuss, in story order, all the Doctor Who novelizations. My name is Tony Witt, and every 2 weeks or so, I'm joined by a 2 to 3 person discussion panel, including our so-called expert who's been a Who fan since 1979. That would be me. We also get the views of intermediate, casual, and novice fans who either have never seen the show or who have never read these books until these podcasts, including
Dalton Hughes
and
Alison Fitz-Seyfried.
You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you find good podcasts, or even ones like ours. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast on the Direction Point Podcast Network. Keep collecting.
You are invited on an adventure across all of time and space, in a completely random order. It's the Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. Jump in the TARDIS with your hosts,
Eric Gulbranson,
Asad Kheshki,
and
Matthew Kressel.
Explore Doctor Who TV stories, audio adventures, and books, both novels and non-fiction. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. It's the entire Whoniverse on shuffle. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast is a member of the Direction Point Network and is available about once a month wherever you find your podcasts. You are listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
The Vervoids are probably the best dirty joke in Doctor Who.
They're hermaphroditic plants.
A lot of plants are.
So there you go. It's based on science.
No, they'll ship anything.
There are probably 11 and handle shippers out there. You just have to drill a hole where his mouth is, and you're all set.
You know he needs the room. I've seen it in pictures.
I'm not saying you're not a fan. I'm saying you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Doctor Who gives a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
All my travellings throughout the universe, I have battled against evil, against power-mad conspirators. I should have stayed here. The oldest civilization. Decadent, degenerate, and rotten to the core. Power-mad conspirators, Daleks, Sontarans, Cybermen. They're still in the nursery compared to us. 10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really corrupt.
And now it's time for the most outrageous offer. The most outrageous offer is a Doctor Who item or related item that seems a bit too highly priced for its own good, possibly by a price gouger or somebody who has no idea what they're doing. So here we go. We have an item here. It's a book. It's in Spanish. I'm going to do my best here to pronounce this. Doctor Who, El Loco de la Cabina, la Nueva Era de la Maquina, which translates to Doctor Who, the Madman in the Cabin, the New Machine Age. And that's a copy that was basically sold in Spanish language. And they have a copy here. It's published by Dolman in 2014. Has a cover. You'll see the picture on our website, but has Matt Smith and David Tennant and Peter Capaldi on the front. So we've got a seller here, Libros del Mundo in Ventura, Florida. They only have a 4-star rating on Books, but they're offering the price on this book is $35,595. That's quite a lot of money with $11 shipping. So there you go. After much more looking around, I found a copy that you can buy from Spain for $21.52 with $20 shipping. So still a lot cheaper. There's another copy I found that was sold in Hollywood, California for $32.64 with $11 shipping. Found another one in, it looks like Hollywood, Florida for $41.88. So clearly you can get a copy of this book for a lot less. And it is kind of cool. I think I may even add one of these to my collection, but not for $35,000. Come on, people. That has to be a mistake. It has to be a mistake. There's no way they're going to get that kind of money. And that's what's really quite amazing to me, that there's somebody out there who's trying to get money like that. It's just not going to happen. And that's been kind of the whole reflecting back on the year of most outrageous offers. I do get messages and emails about stuff that's out there, copies of Lung Barrow for $600 that'll never sell. Recently I looked into Target book lots. There was a guy who had 61 Target books. He wanted $500 for it. And I looked at the titles and not a single rare title, all common titles. And I said, you're not going to get it. You're asking like $9 a book, and that's worth about $2. But they don't understand. They think, well, it's Doctor Who. It's got to be worth money. So, listen to the experts out there. I've people that contact me specifically to say, what is this worth? And I'm like, well, give me some more information about it. I can I'm not the definitive expert on grading. I mean, Gene Smith actually is one of the top guys, although he says his eyesight's starting to not get so good. So with looking at fine grades and stuff. But you really need to get it to somebody who knows what they're talking about before you put a price on something, or especially if you're not going to accept a reasonable offer either. So there you go. And if you'd like help in selling your Doctor Who collection, just shoot me an email at drwhocollectorspodcast@gmail.com. I'll see what I can do. All right. Well, that wraps up the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast for 2023. And again, what a great year it's been. So coming up, we'll be back after the new year with some great stories, some great shows. I've already listed a few guests that we've got lined up for the new year and some more topics that we will explore together. So we're hoping to bring back classic hardcovers of 84 once the Target Book Club podcast catches up and has a rating for us. And of course, we'll keep our eyes out for whatever happens. In the meantime, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and keep collecting.
Wherever was that place?
Oh, no idea. I'm glad we got away.
What were they doing?
Your guess is as good as mine. Let's hope we never land there again. Here we are. What's this? Well, we so rarely get a chance to celebrate, but this time we must.
Celebrate?
Yes. It's Christmas. Don't you remember the police station, Christmas? So it was, yes. Here's a toast. A happy Christmas to all of us. Same to you, Doctor. Sir. Incidentally, a happy Christmas to all of you at home.
Direction point! Direction point!
A Doctor Who podcast network.